Hey, hey, hey! Good morning, everyone! Buenos dias, mi gente! This is Angel Chow with the XP Realty, and in this episode, I want to talk to you about protecting your investment. How do you protect your assets? Okay? What do you need to protect your assets from? You're probably wondering, what do I need to do about that? I ain't got anything going on. Well, you'd be mistaken. There's a variety of reasons why you might be suable, let's say that. There's a variety of reasons why someone might be able to sue you, and if you don't have anything except some real estate, they'd be happy to take that. What are some of those scenarios? Well, first of all, let's just say you're having a party at your house. Someone falls down, they're being a clown, and then they hurt themselves. It's not your fault they were being a clown, but nonetheless, they were being a clown at your house and they fell down, and your insurance isn't going to cover it, or it doesn't cover all of it. Boom, now what do? Your house is at risk, okay? Like that. Let's say a creditor is suing you or your company. You have a company, things didn't go quite as planned, and now you're getting sued, right? If your house is not protected, if your real estate's not protected, guess what? They can come after it. A lawsuit, for whatever reason, a lawsuit against you or your company. Let's say you have a child. Your child gets in a car accident, hurts someone severely with the car. Your insurance is insufficient to cover all the costs. Guess what they're coming after? They're coming after your real estate, including your house. And if it's not protected, boom, they're going to get you. And let's see, unexpected death, unexpected impairment, right? If something happens to you and you can't speak, or you're no longer here, God forbid, or you're here and you can't speak, you're impaired, how is everything going to get handled, all right? So those are some of the reasons why you should have some sort of protection in place. Now, let's talk about the different types of protection. There's a few, okay? I'm not an expert at this. It's not like I'm saying I know it all, but I do know the experts, okay? And that's the key. And I'm not scared to make a fool of myself by asking all the questions that need to be asked to make sure that you get all the correct answers that you're looking for. So one way to protect your real estate is by using a trust. A trust is basically a legal entity. It's a legal entity in which you can hold, which you could protect, which you could divest, real estate or other assets, okay? And it gives instructions on how those assets need to be used, be disposed of, or who they are to benefit, all right? So you have family trust, which is specifically between family members. You have a living trust, which is created by someone while they're still alive. You have a testamentary trust, which is created by someone's will after they passed away. You have a revocable trust, which means you can change some things, and then you have an irrevocable trust, which means you can't change any of it. All right, so I'm not covering all the details of a trust here, because if you want that, then you got to obviously talk to an attorney about this, because these are complicated matters that don't get covered in a 5-minute social media video, okay? So another way to protect the interest in your property is by using an LLC, a limited liability company. Okay, the United States Supreme Court actually considers an LLC a person. Okay, they have the same rights. So when you transfer the ownership of one of your properties into an LLC, if you get sued, they can't come after whatever is owned by the LLC, because you technically don't own it. You might own the LLC, right? But you don't own the property that the LLC owns. I know it's a little tricky, but just hang with me, all right? And this is going to protect you against lawsuits, personal lawsuits against you, your children, for any variety of reasons, okay? So let's just look at a little example here. Let's look at a little example, what it might look like, okay? One way to protect your assets is to put everything into one LLC, which is not really recommended, okay? But it's better than nothing, all right? We'll say that. Because let's just say you're a hardworking person and, something happens. Whatever happens, you get sued and you lose, and you're about to lose a lot of money, right? If your company gets sued and your company owns all that real estate, guess what happens? All that real estate is at risk. If you don't have cash to pay it off, they can seize your real estate assets, or they can force you to liquidate them, sell them, so that you can pay off your debts, okay, if that company were to get sued, okay, and it's holding everything. probably a little bit more wiser way to structure your real estate investments is, let's say you have a rental property, okay? You put that property into an LLC. Let's say you have a little restaurant business as well, and you've been renting there for 5 years, and finally they decided to sell that property to you, so you don't have to rent it anymore. So now you put that property into the LLC of the restaurant, okay? And then you have a little apartment building. You put that into a separate LLC. So guess what? If something happens at the restaurant and someone sues you, they try to come after you, well, they can't come after you as a person. They can sue the restaurant, right? And they can go after the assets of the restaurant, not the assets of the house, not the assets of the real estate investment business or the apartment complex over here. They're limited to this, okay? Now, that's the difference between a consultant and a salesperson. A consultant takes the time to explain and educate. So if you or someone you know is considering buying, selling, or investing in any kind of real estate, I promise you, you really owe it to yourself to speak to me as a potential consultant before you end up with a traditional salesperson. All my consultations, my initial consultations, are complimentary and confidential. Okay, I look forward to serving you and the people that you care about. Thank you for watching this episode, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.